Hi, it's me, number 10, the Shroud of Turin. It was 1978 when the Italian news broke about two scientists who had discovered traces of pollen on an ancient cloth that might have wrapped Jesus Christ after he died. Immediately, millions of people were outraged. They argued that the scientists must have planted the evidence themselves to support the theory that the shroud was authentic. And many Christians argued that even if the shroud really was real, discussing it would be tempting fate. The Vatican has historically maintained a strict policy against modern science being used to investigate religious artifacts. For example, carbon dating of the shroud in the 1980s revealed that it couldn't have possibly been around at the time of Jesus. Even so, there are still scientists trying to analyze the shroud today. Number 9. Basalt handheld computers. In 2003, a team of archaeologists unearthed a collection of handheld computers that date back over 2,000 years. Researchers believed they had found some kind of luxury toy. It wasn't until a decade later that they realized what they actually had on their hands. They're not toys. They're actual computers made of basalt. The machines were likely used to calculate important things like tax. Each rock monolith was programmed with different calculations by having small pieces of flint placed into specific slots on the device. The pieces of flint acted as binary digits. When one piece of flint was placed inside the slot, the number was considered 0. If another piece of flint was placed inside, it was considered the number 1. By placing different pieces of flint into different slots, the programmers could set up equations and get answers. Scientists don't know exactly how these devices worked or how the people who used them did the math. But we do know that these ancient computers are the oldest ever discovered. Number 8. The floating city. In 2016, an international team of researchers discovered the remains of a lost city deep beneath the waters of the Black Sea near Bulgaria's northern coast. To make matters even stranger, the city seems to have just appeared out of nowhere. It's the first underwater city ever found along the Black Sea coast, leaving historians baffled as to its origin. All they know is that the settlement once boasted buildings, shops, warehouses, and other structures that are no longer there. And it looks like it was destroyed by an earthquake. Number 7. Ancient Egyptian tablets. Over the last few decades, archaeologists have found hundreds of clay tablets in Egypt that were covered in ancient Egyptian writing. These tablets, which are thousands of years old, are unlike anything seen before. They suggest that Egyptians knew how to write in the traditional style we think of today. This was long before hieroglyphics. We know that ancient Egyptians kept records, but they never wrote in full sentences like this. Instead, they used tokens to represent certain words. Historians call this system of record-keeping non-alphabetic writing. These tablets suggest that writing evolved much more quickly than historians thought. That means the ancient Egyptians may have been more advanced than historians originally believed. Number 6. Roman dildos. In September of 2021, archaeologists announced the discovery of several Roman dildos that had been preserved under a villa. They found two types of dildos, including simple cylindrical ones as well as more complex toys with animals on them. What makes these toys so special is that they were crafted between 50 BC and 50 AD. So far, archaeologists have only uncovered a handful of examples. The majority of sex toys have been found in brothels and taverns, but these were found in a private residence, suggesting that Romans of that era were pretty open about their love lives. Number 5. The Copper Scroll Treasure. In 1952, a young man named Elias James Friedman stumbled across something truly amazing. While excavating a site called Khirbet Qeiyafa in Israel, he discovered a copper scroll. The scroll looked like it might contain treasure. He carefully peeled away the outer layers of dirt to reveal that it was indeed stamped with the location of buried gold. Many people laughed at his findings, but one professor took him seriously. He agreed to help Elias search for the treasure, and 2 weeks later, they discovered a huge cache of gold coins worth billions of dollars today, buried in a clay jar. It's rumored that the secret behind the copper scroll lies somewhere in the Bible, though nobody knows where. 4. The secret city of Heraclea. Archaeologists recently discovered the largest mosaic ever found in Turkey. It measures almost 2,000 square feet, but that's not the only thing they found. At the same site, they also discovered an entire secret city that was built by Alexander the Great. In 334 BC, the city of Heraclea was one of the most important cities in all of Asia Minor. It sat on the main road that connected Greece to the rest of the known world. Most of the city was destroyed by an earthquake in 230 BC, but the residents rebuilt it immediately. They constructed a new city wall to protect themselves from outside invaders. Then, in 189 BC, the Romans burned it to the ground. Archaeologists believe they now know why. A nearby city was harboring bandits who were attacking merchant caravans on their way into Heraclea. So the Roman emperor at the time decided to burn the city to the ground and punish the people for supporting criminals. Number 3. Mysterious Roman sculptures. A farmer in England stumbled across 4 mysterious sculptures while working in his field. The sculptures date back 1900 years. They were likely created during the reign of Emperor Hadrian. But here's the weird part. Nobody can figure out who they are supposed to represent. These sculptures were likely placed in a Roman temple. There are plenty of statues of Roman emperors from that era, but these are not quite right. Some historians say they may have been meant to represent gods, but that's unlikely. It would have been unheard of for the Romans to deify their emperors. Instead, these may be depictions of important people from the area. We don't know who they are yet, but they may have been local leaders who were forced to submit to the Romans. Number 2. Dinosaur eggs in China. Back in 2014, Chinese workers were digging in an open pit mine when they uncovered dinosaur eggs. Since then, researchers have discovered an entire nest of fossilized eggs. It's the largest of its kind ever found in China, but the discovery doesn't end there. Recent research has shown that some of the eggs contain embryos inside. Scientists have determined that the embryos are 240 million years old. They're some of the oldest ever discovered. Researchers are now using high-tech imaging technology to determine the age of the dinosaurs and find out what species they are. They're hoping to eventually create a complete picture of life 240 million years ago in China. Number 1. A bizarre medieval suit of armor. In 2017, archaeologists uncovered a suit of armor in Hungary. It looks like something straight out of a nightmare. The suit is decorated with grotesque faces, sharp horns, and terrifying teeth. But that's not all. It also has spikes sticking out of it in all directions. Nobody knows why someone would want to be protected by such a freaky suit of armor. Experts believe it was created around 1300 AD. Whoever wore it would have been absolutely unrecognizable. And thanks to its strange appearance, it scared the living daylight out of everyone else. Thanks for watching. Which of these forbidden discoveries was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to come back soon for more videos like these. See you next time. Bye.